It is time for another episode of Argo Sports Insider, and time to dive into all things surrounding UWF Athletics. I'm Cordell Clay. Let's get started in the pool this week. UWF Swimming and Diving won their 5th straight conference title last week, finishing 275 points ahead of runner-up Delta State in a dominant performance. Coach Phil Kraus is the conference coach of the year, and Barb Parker picks up another diving coach of the year honor. The Argos will have a few weeks to prepare for the Diving Division II NCAA Swimming and Diving qualifier, and then the championship come mid-March. It is the final week of the regular season for UWF basketball, with both teams closing things out with a pair of home games. The women split a pair of road games last week, losing at Auburn Montgomery before beating Montevallo. Claire Sutherland Case led the way with 21 points and 10 rebounds in the victory. UWF is now 14-12 on the season and 11-11 in conference play. The Argos are currently 7th in the GSC standings, with the top 8 teams making the conference tournament. The women control their own destiny, but they will need strong performances at home against Alabama Huntsville on Thursday, and then the regular season finale against West Alabama on Saturday.
And then we've got West Alabama coming here on Saturday. And so, their coach just announced his retirement at the end of the season. So I'm sure his team is going to be fired up to really finish on a great note for him as he finishes his coaching career. And I expect nothing but excellence when their team steps in here on Saturday. We've had 7 seniors, right? 3 of those have spent multiple years within our team. The other 4 have only been here 1 season, really 6 months. And so for each one of them, they stepped into a different kind of role and brought a different talent. The biggest challenge, I think, for our coaching staff is that we can only start 5 players. And so normally on senior night, we start all of our seniors, but obviously we can't do that. And so finding some rotation time to get those seniors in the game and let them shine one last time for our home crowd.
The men lost a pair of road games last week, dropping a 4-point decision at Auburn Montgomery before losing by 8 at Montevallo. Xavier Washington scored 39 points and grabbed 16 rebounds across those 2 games. The Argos are now 7-19 overall and 5-17 in GSC play. The Argos also host Alabama Huntsville and West Alabama this week.
Yeah, it's a big week of senior night, obviously on Saturday. And also we played with a lot of confidence up at Huntsville last time, first time we won there in 19 years. So for us, it should be all about confidence and going into the week and making sure we're taking care of business, defending home court, but sending our seniors home with a win their last time here in the field house. But also, I always like to end the season with a win at home too. So every time I walk in the gym, I think, okay, good things happened here the last day we were here. But, it's just been all about positivity and trying to find the right rotations, especially with senior night, you start different guys, so just trying to make sure they're playing together and building that confidence for one another and having each other's back. Very different styles, and both of them are actually fighting for seeding. So they want to finish up the season. So I think some of them are still trying to fight for that home game, and others are. I think they're both fighting that 4-5 spot right now. So I know they're both going to come ready because what's on the line for them, but also just. One wants to play a little faster, offensive motivated. The other one wants to grind it out, slow pace. So it'll be very different contrasting styles on Saturday and Thursday.
UWF Baseball has played 5 games on the road since our last show. The Argos opened Gulf South Conference play at West Alabama last weekend, taking 2 of the 3 from the Tigers. The team then traveled to Columbus State for a midweek series, dropping 2 games to the Cougars. The Argos are now 9-5 on the season and 2-1 in GSC play. Pitcher Dalton Neuschwander is the GSC Pitcher of the Week for his effort against West Alabama. Alabama Huntsville comes to the Spoon this weekend for a 3-game series starting Saturday.
Well, we got to work hand in hand. I think we threw a lot more strikes early on through the first 3 weekends than we threw this past weekend. We had a lot more hit batters and walks. Some of that's hand in hand. We've made more errors than we normally do to this point in the season. And sometimes the pitchers start trying to overdo because they think they need to strike somebody out because there's been an error made. When we talk to them about pitching to bat contact, staying within themselves, being in character, they can't be somebody else at Columbus State than they were in Pensacola, Florida, that kind of thing. So, the pitchers and the defense have got to work together. They got to work hand in hand. We've got to fill the zone up, pitch to bat contact, and trust we're going to make the routine plays. We've kind of been up and down on some of those plays, and that adds up for more pitchers. And even though we get out of innings, these pitchers have thrown more pitches in those innings to get out of it, and that has a toll as the season goes on. So it's also having efficiency out there on the mound so these pitchers don't have high stress innings making the plays we're supposed to make. So if we can start doing that together, filling up the zone, catching the balls we're supposed to make, I think it'll continue getting better.
Softball also made the trip to Livingston last week. The Argos ran into a buzzsaw against the 13th ranked Tigers, dropping all 3 games in the series. The ladies bounced back midweek, sweeping a doubleheader at home against Spring Hill, scoring 17 runs with 5 homers in the 2 games. The Argos are now 11-7 on the season and 0-3 in conference play. They will also host Alabama Huntsville this weekend. Both tennis teams finally got their home opener in last weekend, hosting Lee in conference play. The men downed the Flames 5-2, then went on the road and dropped a match at Mississippi College. The Argos are now 2-3 on the season and 1-1 in the conference. They swept the weekly conference awards with Sebastian Rondon winning Player of the Week and Diego Duran picking up another Freshman of the Week nod. The women also beat Lee by a 5-2 count, then knocked off Mississippi College to improve to a 2-1 overall record and 2-0 in the GSC. Both teams will be in Tyler, Texas this weekend for tournament play at the GSC Lone Star Crossover. Men's golf will be back in action next week, teeing it off at the Las Vegas Desert Classic on March 3rd. That's a look at all we have going with UWF Athletics for this week. Don't forget to check out our spring sports previews on the website and our YouTube channel. GoArgos.com is the hotspot for all the rosters, schedules, and latest news. Download the Argo Armada app on the phone or tablet and follow our teams across social media. This is Cordell Clay signing off. We'll see you next time. And as always, go Argos.